Welcome to Through the Wire.
Through the wire.
Of course, man, an eventful week out of nowhere. Training camp. Wait, training camp? Media days were going down. Trades was going down. A lot of stuff, man. Starting off with D Mills. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm excited for this show. We had a lot of news, a lot of good stuff happen. I'm ready to cover it, bro.
See, it's different between like, so Pierre uploaded the video about the big trade. I uploaded a video about the big trade. So like the real diehards of the show probably already know what me and P think, but like they come to the show because we don't know what D Mills think. We don't know what Mike think. What's up with you, Mike?
I'm feeling good. And honestly, I was thinking about I might just start doing what y'all doing. And it might not be where I'm just standing in front of the camera or whatever, but I might have them like short videos where it might be like pictures or videos of the players, whatever, and I'm talking over, getting my thoughts. So it look like some I don't know, man. It's just easy.
Oh, so our job is easy, is what you're saying.
It's not, but it's just like your immediate reactions are always gonna be there, right?
Right.
Especially after you trade, especially right after the trade.
Right. It's a big market, but you missed out though, because all the trades are probably done.
Mhm.
I guess you got
it's
like
the
trade
NBA
deadline.
season.
Yeah,
It's the
true.
NBA season though. All the news is gonna start piling up.
You're right. You're right. But yeah, no, the market for something like immediate reactions and stuff is
Yeah.
ridiculous. My video about the John Wall Russell Westbrook trade got 200,000 views in like 6 hours. Like the market is ridiculous. So yes, take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. P, how you doing today?
I'm good. Excited, like D Mill said. Uh, I don't know, man. I just feel like we in a 2K simulation. That's what I said in my video. Normally after like the draft, we gotta wait like a month or so. Not a month or so, but we gotta wait a little bit for free agency.
Hmm.
And then after free agency, we gotta wait a little bit more. And all we can do in that between time on this show is like talk about what it's gonna be like, what is this team gonna shape up to be. And I just feel like this off season is rapid. Like the
Hmm.
draft isn't that far removed. Neither is free agency. We're in training camp, like you just said, actually days away from the preseason, and we just had this mega trade. Like John Wall is already, I just seen him on Instagram already in the practice facility with the Rockets with his practice gear on. So it's like just like a simulation in 2K. You just sim to the draft, free agency, and then you're in training camp with your team, and that's just how it feels in real life right now. So I'm excited, man. I'm super excited.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we just sat around doing nothing for like 6 months.
Yeah.
Right. So like we've been patiently waiting for stuff to happen, and now we're just getting it back to back to back. Preseason starts in 5 days, which is like 5 days. We really got NBA basketball officially back, and we excited for it. Okay, let's get to the trade, man. Russell Westbrook, John Wall swapped. An extra pick was thrown from Washington to Houston that is protected heavily, and the best it'll get is in I think 6 years from now. It's top eight protected, and if it's not used by then, it turns into two second round picks. So essentially, this is kind of like a one for one swap with a couple picks in the future, but nothing that's going to be lucrative. Like usually when you do those trades, you hope that the team ends up being bad so you can get that pick. But the only way you get that pick is if actually the Wizards are really good and it's going to be like a late 20s or it turns into 2 seconds. D Mills, initial reaction, and has that changed since it's been what 3 to 4 days since it happened?
Initial reaction was just kind of more so like, it's just a player for player swap. I feel like they're kind of same player modes. But then I was just like, Russell Westbrook's the type of guy, he kind of rubs his teammates wrong in a way. It seems like through the times that we've seen him on teams. And I'm interested to see how him and Bradley Beal work. Because it seems like John Wall is the type of guy that he's more of a floor general. He runs the show. He can kind of, and I feel like Russell Westbrook's more shot first, but he also does play make. And I'm curious to see how that works because Bradley Beal's used to having the ball in his hands all the time, and Russell Westbrook's not good off the ball. So like, I don't know. It's very
That's
interesting.
interesting. I have we heard an actual teammate of Russell Westbrook say like I didn't like playing with him ever.
That's just a narrative that's
Yeah.
just a terrible narrative. Shout out to the person on Twitter that actually he made a thread. It's a random guy. It's not like a verified account or anything. It's not like a fan account. It's just like a random like OKC or something. I don't know. But I saw it on Twitter yesterday and he was like a thread of teammates bashing Russell Westbrook. So it was like a what do they call that on YouTube terms? Like if you put like clickbait. It was like clickbait thread
right.
because I'm like, who bashed Russell Westbrook? I don't ever remember these things. And as I'm reading them, it's the opposite. So it's like to make people look at the thread, but they're all saying outstanding things. It's like every teammate, like Victor Oladipo, after having a career year with Russell Westbrook, he really helped me grow my game. It's Kevin Durant. I think Russell Westbrook's got unfair criticism. It's all like literally Austin Rivers. He's the best teammate I ever had. It's literally a thread of like all of these crazy compliments. And the guy is basically saying like the narrative of Russell Westbrook being a bad teammate is literally made up.
Right.
It's literally just made up because you never heard any stories like that.
It is so weird because I mean I'm critical of Russell Westbrook, but I am actually like super aware of like how good he is or how good of a teammate he is. They're things you give and take with Russell Westbrook, right? So you're gonna get a leader in your locker room most likely. You're gonna get a guy that puts it all on the table, who is gonna go out there and try to win every single game, who's gonna try to kill the opponent. But you also get those moments that we talked about in the show, like what the hell is happening. But for the most part, I think that those good things outweigh the bad at the end of the day, right? I mean, the worst thing about Russell Westbrook right now isn't the bad shot taking or like the ball hogginess that people want to give him. It's the contract, right? The contract is just was super heavy when it comes to Russell Westbrook, and that would be the only reason I wouldn't want Russell Westbrook on my team, because he's making up 35% of your cap space, and he's probably good. He's good enough to lead you to the playoffs, but after that, like, what the hell is gonna happen? Right, and that was basically my initial reaction when it comes to the Wizards. Like, obviously, the Wizards get the better player. They just went 2 seasons without John Wall, right? So they got the better player in here, but you got 35% of your cap in Russell Westbrook, and then you also have another 20+% of your cap in Bradley Beal, and then now you don't have anything else around it, right? I mean, yes, they have these young players that can blossom. Troy Brown Jr. can have another good season. Rui Hachimura can have another good season, but there's not much wiggle room for, like, having Bradley Beal be happy and building the team around him. Is the way I'm looking at it.
I think that was my initial reaction too. Once I seen that, the Wizards had got Russell Westbrook, is that, they're going to be a team that's going to be competing, and like you mentioned, they went the last 2 seasons with John Wall. Russell Westbrook does not miss many games. He's going to be somebody that does go all out for it, and he's probably going to be a guy that leads them to the playoffs. For the opposite end, I thought it was just a win-win situation for both teams. Derek said they're both similar in molds. It's so tough for John Wall coming off, the injuries he did. But I mean, at least I think he still carries that ability, if anything. As Pete mentioned, the Clippers needed too. He's somebody that is a floor general, and at the end of the game, he's going to make the right decisions and smart decisions too. So I think that Houston is going to be able to still compete. I don't think it's going to get them over the top, but they're still going to be able to compete. And in the Wizards, they're going to be able to win. I thought it was a win-win for both sides. It may put a cap on how much the Wizards win for Russell Westbrook, especially in the playoffs. But, they've been missing it for the last few years. So,
see, that I guess that's where we're different, because I think it's kind of like a lose-lose for both sides. As for what I mentioned when it comes to building a team with Russell Westbrook on your books, right? If this keeps Bradley Beal happy for him to sign that extension, then sure, you do it. But when it comes to the Houston Rockets, I mean, they just traded for a player that hasn't played in 2 years, that rely heavily on his athleticism. It's coming off an Achilles and ACL, right? Weren't those his 2 injuries? And those are could be detrimental injuries for a guy as athletic as him. Like, of course, they say in the runs, he looks great. We won't really be able to tell. But you can't deny the fact that, sure, it didn't work when it came to Russell Westbrook and James Harden playing together, but Russell Westbrook had those few months in the beginning or right before the season ended where he was dominating teams. Like, he was 3rd in the league in points per game in the paint. We had criticized him for the past 2 seasons about Russell Westbrook. You got to stop fucking shooting the ball. You got to stop shooting the ball. And then he did, and he turned into a player that was on the bubble to make the All-Star game, if y'all remember last season, to being in the All-Star game and making an All-NBA team because he stopped shooting the damn ball. And now you're bringing in a guy. What do you say, D-Mills?
His mergers after they traded Clint Capella too.
Yeah, right. So it opened the floor up for Clint Capella, and then he stayed in the paint and he took those mid-range jump shots, and that's what you want from Russell Westbrook. But as much as I want to talk great about what John Wall is, we just haven't seen him in 2 years, and I think that the general public is grading this trade based on the last time we saw him, which was 2 damn years ago, a ACL tear and an Achilles tear ago. 99% chance he's not going to be that all-star player again. Right?
I completely agree. Because, I mean, Just think about it, and maybe the culture will change a little bit. But I mean, the Rockets, how they've been playing, in the last decade, is they've been playing a lot on their starters, like James Harden, the Chris Paul, those dudes. Like those are the guys that they expected not to miss games. PJ Tucker, he didn't miss games. Daniel House, these are guys that played for most of the season. John Wall and Boogie Cousins, we don't know how healthy they're going to be during the season, so that's something you have to worry about as a Rockets fan.
P, what's up? I don't know if you said much throughout this discussion.
Oh no, I was just letting everybody get their shit off, man. I like when everybody get
But I'll say this too, but right before you go, P. And this is my opinion though, and I think what you guys said is right, that there's no way that Russell Westbrook is a bad teammate. But with the give and take that KB mentioned, I think that the takeaways that he does have, when in terms of competing for a championship and competing at the highest level, I think the players understand that you can't win with him at that time, So I think that's just like, you're my guy, Russell, but it's not going to work out.
Especially at this point, there's probably a ceiling for a 32-year-old Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that statement, Mike. But I think that's a very different thing to say versus being a bad teammate. Those are two completely different things. There's a handful of players that probably aren't going to give you like championship basketball, but you're not calling them bad teammates. A bad teammate is the worst thing you could be called, in my opinion. I don't know if it's a lose-lose for both teams, and I don't know if it's a win-win. I'm kind of stuck in the middle. I think there's some gains. I think there are some losses. I think for the Wizards, it has to be about keeping Bradley Beal happy. That was one of the main things I talked about in my video about the trade is if this is something that Bradley Beal wanted, then you have to do it because you're in a state right now in Washington where you basically have to kind of kiss Bradley Beal's ass because you don't want him to go anywhere. And at this situation, this offseason, if you were going to trade him, it was this offseason to do it because his name was the most talked about name and he was never available. So you know what I mean? So like you probably could have got back a fortune for Bradley Beal in this offseason. And not to say that you won't be able to down the line, but I mean, the longer you hold on to him, the less years he has in his contract, so the less a team will be willing to give up for him. But as far as winning basketball, whenever you add Russell Westbrook, unless you're going to do what the Rockets did, he's probably not going to have that little stretch that he had because the Rockets aren't going, the Wizards aren't going to trade Thomas Bryant and every center that they have on the roster to play super small ball where Russell is kind of like the center and everybody else is just shooters around him. So as much as I want to take in consideration that stretch, I can't really do it because I don't know if he's going to have that ability with the Wizards. I don't dislike it too much, though, because as good as Bradley Beal has been without John Wall, he also was good with John Wall. When him and John Wall played, Bradley Beal was still a respected up-and-coming guy who showed he can play with another guy who can control the ball. And that's kind of why teams like Brooklyn and LA were trying to add him, even though they have LeBrons and Anthony Davises and Kyries and Kevin Durant, because Bradley Beal is one of the unique scorers who can play with and without the ball at a high level. So I think that works. And then for the Rockets, John Wall is an alpha male guy in the locker room, but he's always been an alpha who's been willing to give up the ball. He's a pass-first alpha. So I think he doesn't disrupt James Harden. And James Harden had a little thing where he said he kind of didn't want to play that type of basketball where he pounds it. That was more of a D'Antoni thing. So now you have the new coach. You bring in a point guard who can take the pressure off of Harden so he doesn't drain himself. And if he really didn't want to play that basketball, it'll be a lot different having Wall. And, yeah, I don't think Wall is going to be that point guard that we once saw. But I don't think he needs to be that in Houston. I think he's going to really help a guy like Christian Wood flourish because he's going to get Christian Wood the ball. He's going to get Eric Gordon and guys the ball. We've seen him with Washington get a bunch of people paid, like Otto Porter, like Trevor Ariza, like Jared Dudley. So I think that is the win-win. It's like you made Bradley Beal happy in some context if you're Washington. And then in Houston, as much as you like Russell Westbrook, John Wall may not be the better player because we haven't seen him in 2 years, but he's the better player for the Rockets and what they want to do. And for John Wall to not be a quote-unquote shooter, he's always in his career made it work. He's never hindered an offense because of his lack of shooting. As to Russell Westbrook, when his shooting has at times really hurt his team. So I like it for both sides. I can't call it a win-win. I can't call it a loss either because they're both making $40 million. They're both, Russell's older, John Wall with the injuries. Neither makes your team a contender at this point as of right now. So it's hard to say, but I get it for both sides. I will say that.
Yeah, how do y'all feel about James Harden saying that he preferred? Well, this is what Woj said, that he preferred John Wall over Russell Westbrook.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm tired of hearing James Harden preferring next point guard, bro. Like at some point we're gonna have to really have that conversation about him because no matter who because I will give Tillman Fertitta some respect, and he's willing to try to satisfy his star player. And every owner doesn't try to do that. But like, man, they have rotated these high level players to play alongside him, and it seems like every single time it ends on negative terms. Ended on negative terms with Chris Paul. Ended on negative terms with Russell Westbrook. Ended on negative terms with Dwight Howard. Like, this is probably gonna end on negative terms with John Wall in a couple years. Like,
I don't think so because I think he's out. I think James Harden.
I mean, yeah, he ain't even showed up to camp yet, and like I think today, as we're recording this video, it's like the first official practice for the team, and we'll see if there's a report saying that he reported to the camp. But yeah, he hasn't been there yet, and if he doesn't show up, then we gonna have a emergency podcast to do if they trade James Harden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, another thing about this move as well is like, if they were gonna keep this team together and like try to push it, the Covington thing makes me scratch the hell out of my head because like I like this team a lot better, even though I haven't seen John Wall, even though Boogie and the question marks, I still like this team a lot if Covington is on that roster, and I feel like Covington is a guy that every time he gets traded, the team who traded him, we always look back at them and say, you know what they could use right now? A Robert Covington. Mm-hmm. When Sixers traded him, we looked at their roster and was like, you know what they could use right now? A Robert Covington. We look at Minnesota right now with D'Lo and Cat, and we look at their roster and they're missing a Robert Covington. You know what I mean? I think Houston is going to be missing a Robert Covington. I think so highly of Portland this year because they have Robert Covington. So I really want to see the direction Houston goes. Because if they're a surprise, let's just say that John Wall is actually better than people expected. He's not all-star, but he's still very, very good. And this team is rolling. Maybe Boogie starts off slow, but he starts getting some momentum and he's acceptable. Like he's not an all-star either, but he's acceptable. And they're like teetering 5 or 4 seed out west. Yeah, we're gonna be like, damn. Imagine if they had Rocco.
Mm-hmm. And I think that their goal is to try to make Daniel House into what Robert Covington was doing for them, right? I'm gonna hit some threes and I'm gonna defend. But hopefully with Steven Silas, a lot of shit has changed where you don't need to have that small ball 4, and they actually run out rosters where like they have bigs. Does Boogie start to y'all, or does he come off the bench? Because I saw a lot of people talking about that. Here's the 2 lineups that I've saw: John Wall, James Harden, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, and Christian Wood at the 5, and then the other one basically took PJ Tucker out, slid Christian Wood to the 4, and then put Boogie at the 5. Which one would make sense more to y'all?
The first one.
I think so
the
too.
first.
You're also not bringing PJ Tucker off the bench when he's mad about his contract.
I think so too.
Definitely not gonna happen.
Yeah, he's a guaranteed starter. I don't see any reason to bring PJ Tucker off the bench.
Yeah, like he is the heart in the defense of that team. So
I also don't like Eric Gordon at the small 4. I don't think Silas will either.
I mean, yeah, I guess you could substitute that for Daniel House.
He's a guy that had like the Mavericks. They could have had like Seth, Luka, and like Tim Hardaway Jr. He was like they started Finney Smith. He comes from like we're gonna have somebody out there who's gonna
do the dirty work.
Yeah, and not we'll take that over being a small team.
And hey, Aaron Gordon off your bench is like a little spark plug. I think that could be the best direction for his career coming off all the injuries he's been with. Take a little load off and play great off the bench. That could be him.
Yeah, he loves dumbass shots.
He's also making like $18 million a year too. You remember they extended him and we like, what the hell? Like that was a bag for what Eric Gordon was doing. And then the year after that, he stunk. Like he couldn't hit a shot. So hopefully
he was decent.
Yeah, hopefully we could get the good Eric Gordon.
You have Ben McLemore.
They got Sterling Brown now, which is cool. I don't know if they brought in a backup point guard. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I guess James Harden is the backup point guard. He just does it all. Anything else about this trade that y'all want to talk about before we move on to the next one?
Nope.
We'll wait to see what it looks like on the court. The
Yep.
Lakers.
Man, number 4.
Oh, right. Russell Westbrook wearing number 4 is going to be very weird. But I think, did Gilbert Arenas give him the green light to switch it to 0 if he wanted to?
Commented on his post like it's all yours, but
Right.
I don't know.
I don't think Russ going to do it out of respect. I just think it's kind of respecting. But okay, the Lakers were super busy this week, as always. Extended LeBron James 2 more years to his contract worth $85 million. And then the big thing, we all knew it was coming, but I think the surprising part is that Anthony Davis signed a 5-year $190 instead of like a 2+1 that a lot of people were projecting. And everything I read, because they are expecting, because of the coronavirus and everything, the salary cap to drop. So they were projecting that players like Giannis, if he does sign the Supermax, it won't be a 2+1, but it'll be this whole 5-year deal in case that the salary cap does drop, and then they didn't miss out on $18 more million a year type thing. So smart business, because at the end of the day, if Anthony Davis wanted out, they're gonna trade him. So just take that max money. Mike, Lakers fan, what's up? How you feeling?
I'm looking good, man. I feel like we definitely locked in for the season. I think it still moves to make. I think we still have a couple pieces. Like if Kuzma, we could trade Kuzma this season, I'd be cool with it. If we can,
Not after the LeBron tweet.
He's saying that so he can get Kuzma value up, and people think more about Kuzma. But
How many moves y'all ass want to make? We still got moves.
What would you want to do with Kuzma as a fan?
What is Kuzma's value?
I think what Kuzma did for us last year is he was a dude that, I mean, he was supposed to be potentially our third guy. I think we already have that with the scores on our team. If we could find somebody who's just more playoff ready, or maybe just contributing just readily in those times, I think we're good. I think the way we poised our team the same way we did last year is we're able to pick and choose how we want to play basketball. We can go big, we can go small, we can take Bron out, we can take Bron and AD out and still have scores in the game to contribute. So, we have every part of the game with this team.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's why we're kind of confused on the Kuzma thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think last year could have been a big adjustment period for Kuzma. It was his first year playing with AD and LeBron. He didn't know how to fall into place. He didn't know what to do. Now he has a year under his belt. I feel like he has a more of an understanding. And LeBron and AD probably has a little bit more trust in him to trust him in those moments. So he may actually come out and play a lot better.
I agree, Demir. I also can see that maybe he just needs to be traded to be the Kuzma that we saw early on in his career. Maybe that's just a better role for him to reach his fullest potential. Because when you look at the numbers, his shit, like not his totals, but like shot attempts and minutes and they dropped significantly from the last couple of years. So that's tough on any player. Like if we put AD in a situation where he's getting less shots, even though that would never happen because he's a superior player wherever he goes, his game would probably change significantly. If we put, the year that Derrick Rose had with the Pistons, it was a really good year, but I guarantee if we put him somewhere where he doesn't have that opportunity, his shit probably looks a lot different. And it's probably, like you said, the adjustment period. And maybe a vet like Derrick Rose would adjust better than like a third-year player like Kuzma, who's still young, who's still trying to figure himself out. Because I don't even think Kuzma knows who he is completely as an NBA player, if we're being honest.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed. Yeah, and that's why when Derek just asked, like, what is Kuzma's value? I think it's can fluctuate depending on the team, right? And because of that, I probably want to keep him on the roster for just let him hoop for right now. Let him hoop for right now, especially literally right now with training camp is starting today. So imagine he show up to training camp and then tomorrow they trade his ass. It'll be like, damn, that's what they on.
I'll take a flyer on Kuzma quick. Quick. Like if I was like a team with opportunity. I like the Pistons, but they signed like all the places he would play. They got sexual. Yeah, that wouldn't work. But before they did all of that, I was a big on them, like maybe doing a Derrick Rose, Kuzma type situation, figuring that out because Kuzma could have went to Detroit and shot up all of their balls, and that was home for him because he grew up in Michigan. The Thunder, a team like the Thunder, I would like. Why wouldn't I? I mean, they have Baisley, but like, teams like that. My Knicks, if we didn't get Obi Toppin, I was super with it before we got Obi Toppin. Just a guy that can come and you can let him shoot up all your shots. Why not? Hell yeah.
The interesting thing that Shams Charania tweeted with the LeBron James extension is that it runs through 2023 when his son Bronny graduates high school and could have an option to enter the NBA draft if the league and the NBPA change the high school to pro rule. So LeBron trying to get that timeline right. LeBron is really trying to do this playing with my son thing to make history, because it hasn't been done in the NBA before. It's been done in baseball. I don't know. I doubt it's been done in football. He really wants to play with Bronny.
I like it. I like the timing to give itself a chance. The only thing is, Bronny is still very young, so we can't measure him. Like, we don't know if he's a one and done prospect. He could be a 2, 3 year, 4 year guy for all we know, because he's still
not even an NBA player at the end of the day. That's still a
possibility. Yeah, or that. Yeah. So I understand him giving himself the chance, but it ain't a full blown conclusion, because he can get there, and then now Bronny needs a few years, or he's just not an NBA player.
That was my first thing. Is just like, if this does work out and the team is looking at him, and maybe he's not NBA ready or NBA talent or first overall pick, do you still just take him for that chance that LeBron James is gonna come to my team at fucking 40 years old?
Bro, if Bronny James is on the board at 27 and you don't take him, knowing LeBron wants to play with his son, you're an idiot, bro.
So my question is this: does LeBron instruct or advise his son to come out if he's the 27th pick as a freshman, or does he say you should just go back to school, son? Ain't nothing wrong with being a 4-year player. It's hard to judge. You don't know what LeBron's gonna say. I don't know what this from LeBron, because he's gonna think the best for his son. He's not gonna tell his son to rush his development or hurt his draft stock because I want to play with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
especially with LeBron, I mean, he still could wait that extra year. It's LeBron James. He ain't aged a bit.
It's kind of crazy he wants to play into his 40s. That's just kind of.
Hey, when you got it, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like majority of NBA players, if they could play into their 40s, they would play into their 40s.
You have to, because once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
You ain't work all this hard and put in that amount of hours LeBron did to just stop.
Yeah, I forget who it was, but I was watching an interview with a retired NBA player who had just recently retired like a year or two before, and he was like, the biggest adjustment of my life is going from flying every other day and being with the guys to sitting with my family. Like, he wasn't complaining about being with his family, but he's like, for the last 20 years, I have been just hooping. I have been on planes. I have been in new cities every day, and I spent the whole season just at home. It was just weird. So. If people could play into their 40s, their 50s, they literally would. Like, they would. When you love your job, you're going to do it until the day you die, or try to do it until the day you die. So, Derek, the next story is coming from the Clippers, and I know you're a big Clippers fan. They're waiving Joakim Noah, and his agent said that this is the end of an era, likely headed towards retirement.
It's about that time. Yeah, I don't really see Noah having much left in the tank. He was a hell of a Bull. He had a decent little season, a little run when he was with the Knicks, but
he didn't have a good fucking run.
He got a good bag when he was with the Knicks, but no, his let's be honest, his real impactful play ended with the Bulls.
Yeah.
If Joakim was here right now, what would be the first question you asked him, since he's your favorite player of all time?
Oh, good question.
He's your favorite player of all time?
Not favorite, but he's up there.
Like your favorite Bull?
Yeah.
Favorite Bull? Hey, I'm not mad at it. He has a very unique game. I love.
He's my favorite center of all time, for sure. What would you?
What?
My favorite center. Shit on him.
Damn.
Probably.
Why did he ever answer the question of why he hated Kevin Garnett so much?
Yeah, it says mean.
Yeah, it was actually I watched the interview. He was on All the Smoke, and he was like, when he grew up, he had posters of Kevin Garnett on the wall, and Joakim Noah hit him with a post move or something, that's hard to believe because it's fucking Joakim Noah. He didn't have no post moves, and he was like saying like, how you like that to KG, and KG start talking shit, and he was like, since then it was like, all right, okay, cool. He was like asking for pointers and stuff, and KG was like, nah, ain't no love between these lines. So yeah,
that's funny as hell, bro. You can't expect to just go into one of the meanest trash talkers and expect him to say some nice shit, man.
Yeah, I agree, Mike. I never understood that whole he basically when the interview I saw, it wasn't All the Smoke. It was like right after it happened. And he was like, he's just mean. It's like, shut the fuck up, bro. He's mean my ass. Joakim is nice to us, but on a court, I've seen Joakim rah-rah.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So
Oh,
like
yeah.
Joakim, cut it the fuck out, bro. You're not nice either.
But no, that's what he said. He turned into that though. He was like, until then, I was just hooping, but now, like, because of KG, I play with that flair.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny because Kenyon Martin just recently came out and he said it a few times. He said that Kevin Garnett shit was nothing to him. He said Kevin Garnett was a fucking actor.
I did see that Kenyon Martin had his own
too.
podcast now.
Mm-hmm.
He had his own podcast. It's interesting. So yeah, one heck of a career for Joakim. Ended in the All NBA team, Defensive Player of the Year, and top 5 in MVP voting once. So shout out to.
I will never forget that the Defensive Player of the Year.
It was a season, bro. Man got a triple double with blocks, like against Philly. Just Spencer Hall. Spencer Hall's for some reason.
Who else got a triple double with blocks?
Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah.
I know y'all was gonna say it was another guy though, who was very, very talented, man. Like I'm gonna do a draft class on 2K full of these type of guys. Think about it. You guys know this guy. He's a very good center who stopped playing basketball prematurely.
Larry Sanders.
Larry Sanders.
Oh.
Larry Sanders.
Shout out to Larry Sanders.
Bro,
said he wants to come back.
He does this all the time, though.
Yeah.
He does that like every year.
And so he said that I stumbled upon his Instagram, and the first thing he's doing is smoking weed.
Hey, but now he can do that if he come to the league now, because they're
not testing. But I don't know how they're gonna feel if J.R. Smith just upload the video of him smoking Kush after a game. That's the whole thing. But hey, Larry Sanders, he's doing his thing. He's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all know, but Larry Sanders got a song that he produced shortly after he retired from the NBA. That he produced for Party Next Door, and that shit went like gold or maybe platinum. He talked about it on the Instagram video. Like a lot of people don't know. Right after he put together a talent talent development company, and he ended up producing a thing for Party Next Door that took off.
That makes sense to me. Because when he did retire, he was like, I want to get into like the arts. He started painting and doing stuff like that. So yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Shout out to Larry Sanders.
And he still makes $1.8 million for the next few years because they stretched and provisioned him. So, you know, Larry Sanders is out here, man. I always loved his game though. Like I want to make a draft class with those type of players, like guys that we know could hoop, but you know what I'm saying? Like him, Lance Stevenson, Michael Beasley, like those OJ Mayo.
OJ Mayo was a hooper, bro. That was the worst, bro. When I went to that was my first Bulls playoffs games, and OJ Mayo was out there hooping. Everybody in the Bulls crowd was like, OJ sucks. And I'm in my head like, bro, OJ has raw as hell. Y'all tripping.
Another player retired. Evan Turner retired and then joined the Boston Celtics coaching staff like that. At their 10-year career. We talked about this in the party once it happened, but
weird.
It is very weird.
He retired. It was kind of odd.
So weird. I was just talking to my dad about that too. Like it makes me feel old because when I was growing up, I watched Evan Turner and he didn't feel that much older than me. Like when he was at Ohio State, I feel like I was in like high school. Yeah, I was in high school, so it felt like he was a peer of mine.
Right.
So for him to be already retiring is weird. And then one of the schools that's recruiting my little brother retired Evan Turner jersey. So every time like I'll go see my brother work out, his jersey is like in the Raptors thing. So I mean, when you think about it like that, he has been playing for a while. He already has his jersey retired in a few places. So
yeah.
And that's a good coaching staff to be on.
And 10-year NBA career, he stayed in college for a few years too. So it wasn't like he was a one and done guy. So
True.
Kind of ugly at 32.
Yeah.
Like, guys don't retire at 32.
Right. When you don't get no contract offers, you retire at 32.
and when you were able to get the bags that he got, he's sitting pretty, man.
Shout out to what team gave him that bag, Derek?
Portland,
man. Shout out to Portland for throwing that bag.
It's good for him to be there with the Celtics too, bro. Because to be honest, that was the only team that he was like decent with. You know,
no. He has the
Philly was okay. I feel like
he was better with Philly than Boston.
What? That Philly team ain't really do nothing though.
What? That team's going to the playoffs.
That team, Derrick Rose and them as the 8th seed because Derrick Rose tore his
got hurt. Yeah, but come on now, chill, Mike.
Don't disrespect the legend.
Once he got that contract, he ain't do nothing.
Bro, his best season, Philly, he averaged 17 before they traded his ass to
Second
Indiana.
overall pick, man. That was a fun ass team. Him, Drew Holiday, Thaddeus Young. I used to play with that team on 2K.
Y'all want to hear a crazy stat? So this season he played a total of 19 games with the Atlanta Hawks. He shot 0% from the three. He didn't hit a single three this whole season.
That's not crazy. That is not crazy to me. Like Evan Turner.
No, you're right, but it's still like to see 0% in somebody's like thing as a
did
like
he even
wing
attempt
guard.
one?
Yeah, he did. He got
yeah.
0.3 attempts.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he was attempting them things. Was not falling.
Year before he shot 21.
Yep. So yeah,
Mike,
bro.
What's a crazy Evan Turner moment? Let's see if you know this.
I ain't thought about Evan Turner in a minute, man.
The only reason I asked you is because it happened against the Lakers.
Jog my memory.
He was playing for the Philadelphia 76ers, if I'm not mistaken, still. And they won. They were winning. He gets a steal and does like a fucking windmill reverse dunk or something at the end of the game. And Nick Young is like, what? You can see the whole Laker team just getting mad. Like if you Google or YouTube Evan Turner,
I'm about to right now.
Lakers, I bet it'll pop up. It's like, one of those games where a team is maybe up 12. They're trying to dribble the clock out. Evan Turner is still hooping. He get the steal. He going dunk. They in the Staples Center. And Nick Young, and he trying to go apologize like, my bad. Nick Young like, no, man. No, that's fucked up.
They say I just watched it. That was a raw ass dunk. Though.
Yeah, it was a raw ass dunk, but it was like the game was over, bro.
Yeah, they say he apologized. They say he apologized for it.
Oh, that's all that matters though. As long as he
fuck the apology. Nick Young ain't trying to hear that apology. They was trying to fight his ass.
Wasn't he a part of a fight? Evan Turner?
Oh hell yeah! Evan Turner had a few fights. Like look, I'm watching
him and Carlos Boozer, him and DeAndre Jordan, James Harden and Evan Turner.
Was Boozer on the Bulls or with the Jazz in this fight?
This is a Bulls one. During that playoff series, game 1, before Derrick. Oh, I don't want to watch this before Derrick Rose. Yeah.
He got into it with DeAndre Jordan too.
With Russell Westbrook. Damn, this man was out here. He was just picking fights.
DeAndre Jordan, a big dude to get
Kevin Durant.
Yeah, he got into Kevin Durant a few times. Shit.
Yeah, that's actually funny. Shout out to Evan Turner, man. Best of luck as a development coach specifically.
For my young viewers, if you aren't familiar with pre-NBA Evan Turner, go watch Ohio State Evan Turner. It's the reason why he was the second overall pick. I know the NBA career looks like, damn, why was he picked second? Kind of like Michael Beasley. But if you watch both of their years before they were drafted, Evan Turner was the best college basketball player that year, and it wasn't even close. I think maybe John Wall still won it because he was a freshman playing for Kentucky, and that Kentucky team was super sexy. But I don't know. Do y'all remember that Evan Turner?
Well, I remember after he declared, there was a montage, like a mixtape, and it showed like when he broke his back. And then they showed a little bit of his rehab. They showed his ass dogging that next season, killing it. Yeah, bro. Yeah,
I was such an Evan Turner fanatic at that time. I remember I went to go hoop. I think KB was there, but I'm sure he don't remember. So we was with my pops, and we went to my stepmom's sister house, Nate, and we was like hooping in front of the thing. And I'll never forget, I was scoring, and my pop's like, "Yeah, Evan." Yeah, Evan. And my stepmom was like, why the fuck are you calling him Evan? And he was like, because he like Evan Turner. That's his boy. I'll never forget that shit. Evan Turner, man. Evan, man.
He averaged 29-6 in his last season before he declared.
Damn.
And I can still tell you, they lost to Tennessee in the tournament. They got upset. It broke my heart, man, because I knew he was gone. I wanted Ohio State to win that championship so damn bad.
Here's his college accolades: NCAA All-Region, Naismith Player of the Year, 2-time All Big Ten, Big Ten Tourney MVP, 2-time Big Ten Tourney All-Star, Wooden Award, Player of the Year. Like he was out there, man.
Big Ten Tourney MVP.
Big Ten Tourney MVP.
Boom. Another moment. Last moment. Ever Turner. Big Ten tourney championship game. Team is down 2. Some guy hit a shot. They
Oh,
up 2.
I know
Crazy.
exactly what you're talking about.
Half court game winner
Against
the championship.
Michigan.
Against Michigan.
Against Michigan. Yeah. You know who is on this roster? Mark Titus. Y'all know Mark Titus?
Yeah.
He has a podcast now. He used to be with the Ringer. He wrote a book about being the bench warmer of this team. Like he was a walk-on and he stayed on the team for 4 years. Shout out to Mark Titus, bro. Shout out to Mark Titus.
Man,
career averages of 0.3.
I remember watching this game thinking like, man, Evan Turner about to lose. Look at Evan Turner. Boom, 1 dribble, 2.
Who would have thought that us bringing up Evan Turner retiring lead us on 10 minutes of talking about Evan Turner? Evan Turner couldn't even predicted that.
Our young viewers we have to make sure the flowers are given to people who aren't Hall of Famers as well. And Evan Turner at Ohio State is a Hall of Fame basketball player. I'm not gonna bullshit you. If we just talked about that part of his life, the man is a Hall of Famer. Same with Michael Beasley. We talk about Michael Beasley's freshman year at Kansas State. He's one of the best players to ever play.
Hey, man, remember, it was a real debate on who should be first overall that year. We didn't know for sure if we were taking Derrick Rose. That's how nice Michael Beasley was, bro.
I think that type of stuff, it can't be translated to our fans that are younger who weren't around for that because they were just kids or they maybe weren't into the NBA. Like, if you go back and look, that type of thing won't be spoken about now, what KB just said, because everybody's going to pretend like, oh, Derrick Rose, he was the youngest MVP, of course. No, it was a real discussion.
Yep.
It was a real discussion. OJ Mayo versus Derrick Rose going into college. That was a discussion. Like Mike just talked about how raw. I know some of our young fans are like, OJ Mayo, raw. OJ Mayo was offered a scholarship in 8th grade. Like they do that a lot now because of the internet. But you got to understand when think about when OJ Mayo was in 8th grade, there was no Ball is Life. There was no YouTube, millions of video. There wasn't any of that. So an 8th grader getting a scholarship was unheard of. Unheard of. Like this shit gives me goosebumps. I remember walking to school, having discussions with people, OJ or Derrick Rose. And I ain't gonna lie, I was OJ Mayo. But then Derrick Rose senior year, when he spazzed out at the United Center, windmilling and all that, I was Derrick Rose. Right. I was Derrick Rose. And I'll never forget, my pop said to me and my brother, we can go see Derrick Rose in a championship game, or we can go to Sipu birthday party, hotel party.
Shout out to Sipu.
We went to the fucking hotel party because we was young kids and didn't know better. I don't have many regrets in life, but that is one of them. That is one of them. Because now when you type in that championship game, Derrick Rose is windmilling on people's heads in the United Center, and we just wanted to go fucking swim.
So Michael Beasley in college, Mike or Derrick, do y'all have any idea of what type of numbers he averaged in college?
He had to average over 20. Like I say 25 point score.
26 points per game, 12 rebounds, 53% from the field, and 38% from 3. It's only been a couple players in college basketball history to do that type of shit as a freshman, and the only other guy I'm pretty sure is Kevin fucking Durant. That's it.
Do they let you? Are you on a thing where you can see game logs?
I don't know. Let me see.
If it's Basketball Reference, I think it would be. But if I'm not mistaken, I hope they have game log. He didn't have one game when he didn't get a double-double. Or if he did, it was just 1 or 2 games.
Let me see.
I think he got a double-double every single game.
He's got 2 of them where he didn't get a double-double. And he didn't even play many minutes this game. He played 24 minutes. They were blowing their ass out, so he didn't even play the full game. And then the other one was in the conference tourney where he had 9 rebounds instead of 10. So 9 rebounds instead of 10. So,
that was definitely a monster.
His top rebound game, 24.
Is it against Kansas? No, I couldn't.
It was against Sacramento State, so it was one of them weak ass teams.
Kansas
but
too big. He dogged Kansas.
24, bro. 24 rebounds in the game for Michael Beasley. He had a couple 40 points, bro. Michael Beasley was a dog.
I need our young viewers to know. They have scouting reports. They still do it to this day.
First game of the season, he put up 24 boards and 32 points as a freshman. Just the first game of his college career.
One of the weaknesses on Michael Beasley's scouting report was that he gets bored with the competition.
You know what?
Seriously, that was
I
a
can
real
see,
thing
bro.
a scout said. A scout said you have to keep him engaged because the game is so easy for him that at certain times he'll get bored. He'll just start doing shit, or he just won't be into the game because it's just too easy. He look up at halftime, he got 22 points, all dunks. It's like he don't even want to. Now he's just shooting threes just for no reason because it's just, you know what I'm saying. So it's like that's a crazy ass thing to say about somebody.
Yeah. Okay. That was a good.
We need to have a throwback Thursday episode. We could just let an hour of this type of shit off because I want D Mills and Mike to be able to name some people too because I know they probably like they don't, you know what I'm saying. But man,
the next bit of news is that LiAngelo Ball got a 1-year non-guaranteed contract with the Detroit Pistons. So congratulations.
Talk to me about this contract, one of y'all, if y'all really understand the details, because I don't want to get my hopes up. Am I going to see him in a Detroit Pistons jersey or not?
So he's got to make the team in training camp. And if he doesn't make the team in training camp, then that contract will most likely turn into a two-way where he would play G League and NBA or just G League again. Because when he played for OKC 1 game before the season got shut down. So it's a possibility. If he go into camp and he's dogging, he can make that roster. But it ain't a guarantee.
If y'all thinking that happens,
It's bro. That was my thing when we was first talking about the part. Is like, is he gonna be playing in the G League or anything? You're like, no, he on this contract. Like, and you started reading into it, and he does have those details. And I'm like, I mean, first of all, it's very slim that he does dog, and he makes the roster like that. But second of all, like, I don't see is he a 3? Because the fourth position is already jammed. So
I ain't gonna lie to you, he's probably a 2, Mike. LiAngelo Ball is like 6'3", if we being real.
Yeah, he ain't got 2 speed. That's the only problem.
But the thing about it, when I look at this roster, a lot of moves are made for shock value, and they have him listed at 6'5" on here. So excuse me. I'm gonna pretend we ain't go to the big ball All-Star game and actually talk to these guys and stand neck to neck with them. And I'm gonna pretend that ain't happened because he's 6'5". I'm sorry, I was wrong. He's 6'5". He's tall as hell.
That's funny.
But they don't have any shock value, so I can see them letting him make the team, just have some type of shock value to have something to talk about, because teams do that for whatever reason. As I look at the names, though, yeah, he it's a chance. I mean, when you look at the official roster, they have him on here.
Mm-hmm.
They have Louis King from Oregon. They have him on a 2-way. They got Saban Lee, who they've drafted from Vanderbilt.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. DeMar DeRozan chased off an intruder who broke into his home. TMZ.
That's random as hell.
Yeah.
That just popped up on my phone. But then I see some names on here that make me feel like he won't make the roster. They have Wayne Ellington, DeLon Wright, Tony Snell, Rodney McGruner. Like, those guys are going to make it.
Wait, is Tony Snell on that roster?
I think they did.
I think he's in Atlanta. He's in Atlanta.
I think he is. I don't know why they still have him on here.
I think he's in Atlanta.
Yeah, he is in Atlanta. He is.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting, but shout out to LeVar for making it a reality. Because last time I checked about LiAngelo, they were talking about his ass was doing modeling and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, like working on design, like he was about to do his own clothing and stuff.
Right, yeah, and look at him. He in the NBA. Technically, he's in the NBA.
6'5", power forward.
6'5", power forward is PJ Tucker.
Yeah. Without the defense.
What? Hey, you don't know that. What if he get in the NBA? He's really all of a sudden.
Hey, that would be a story,
bro. Right, what if LiAngelo Ball wins Defensive Player of the Year?
That boy LeVar gonna start talking about him again. Finally,
I told y'all.
LeVar gonna talk them into getting the max.
How y'all feel about Kyrie Irving not talking to the media?
I love it. Hey, if the media is some form of problem where it's caused stress and everything, just take the precautions to get rid of that. It seemed like every time he talk,
I'm sorry.
Happened. Oh,
y'all said that DeMar DeRozan this shit just got stranger. I googled NBA because I remember it was a topic I wanted to bring up, and it was a Kyrie thing. And it says DeMar DeRozan reportedly saved kids and Kylie Jenner from burglar.
What?
This shit is. NBA player DeMar DeRozan saved his kids and neighbor Kylie Jenner from an intruder who broke into their gated community last month. DeRozan was hanging out at his Los Angeles area home on November 19th when he discovered the stranger upstairs near his children's room where one of his 2 kids was playing. The 31-year-old Spurs star came face-to-face with the intruder before chasing him out of the house. But the 6'6", 220-pound forward wasn't enough to deter the creep, and he returned a short time later for what he said was his intended target, Kylie Jenner mansion. Neighborhood security stopped him and called police, who was arrested. A judge also issued restraining orders prohibiting him from going near DeRozan and Jenner's house.
Bro, the world is crazy, bro. Like that's some scary stuff at the end of the day.
That is, and you know what? If I'm those people, I'm highly upset because they live in a gated community. That's the whole fucking point of me being in a gated community. How did he get in my gated community?
I know that. My house.
You know, Kylie and DeMar DeRozan are paying a lot of money for where they live. Yeah. So if I'm paying that much money, it needs to be secure. Y'all might want to hire some more people so this don't happen again. Yeah. He was by his kid's room.
But the kid, you don't
come on now.
The kids.
He had that burglar had to be sick, bro. He was trying to get into Kylie Jenner. That means that he was probably expecting Kylie Jenner or somebody that they, and then all of a sudden he see a 6'6" dude just chasing after his ass.
Yeah, he probably don't even know who the fuck DeMar DeRozan is.
He really did.
Probably not. That's crazy.
But that's why those Kardashians and all, that's why they have to be so deep with security, because motherfuckers like him is just trying to just smell their booty.
Yeah. Facts. Get in that drawer. The last thing I have on my little rundown is talking about the Steph Curry brand thing. I ain't really talk about it too much, but I saw the sneakers again, like on feet, and they're not as bad as I thought they were originally.
They're not, because they're not that green one that we saw.
Right.
The first one was like gray and green.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
That was a terrible picture to leak. That was probably another brand trying to sabotage it.
But then they had the gold colorway and the cream and gold colorway. That was I'm not too mad about it. I
want to support it, but I'm not, because it has the same ankle material that it had on the ones you have, and that wasn't comfortable for me personally. It pinched my ankle, so I'm probably gonna have to pass up on it. But I'm glad you brought that up, because so he got his own department in Under Armour. Mm-hmm. Did y'all see LeBron's interview where he talked about wanting Luka to be the face of LeBron at Nike, which means LeBron is kind of getting his own team thing too?
No, I didn't hear that.
Before Luka signed, like Luka's with Jordan now, but LeBron was recently on road tripping, and he was saying, they were like, "How do you feel about Luka?" He was like, "I'll tell you a story to show how much I like him." He was saying, "I wanted my people at Nike to make him the face of Team LeBron and to be my guy." But he said, "I don't think my people at Nike saw the vision." And now, obviously, he's at Jordan, but he was saying like that was a real thing. He wanted Luka to be the first athlete under Team LeBron.
That makes sense.
He loves everything that he stands for.
It does, bro. Especially like when you talk about their gameplay. If you ask me who I would compare Luka Doncic to, it'd probably be damn near LeBron in terms of like impact and what they could do on the floor.
Yeah, no. Yeah. My dad called me the other day and said, "Who do you think can beat the Lakers realistically?" Mm-hmm. I couldn't think of too many teams. Out west, he was saying, and I said the Mavericks. Mm-hmm. If obviously KP is healthy, and then I said especially if they would have got Zach or Spencer Dinwiddie, because I think Luka is that deal. Like they almost beat the Clippers last year in the play. I'm gonna never get over that. The Clippers are very lucky. Like, and that's why I think the Clippers should shut up. Like Marcus Morris, like, yeah, we lost to the Nuggets, but we know we were the better team. There's no point in saying that now. You lost. Paul George
that makes it even worse. Honestly. It makes it worse.
Paul George, who I love, talking about Doc Rivers played me like a JJ Redick. There's no point in talking about that now.
Hey, shout out to Kevin O'Connor.
Yes.
Kevin O'Connor was like interesting, and he went into the stats. And Paul George was playing pick and roll more than any time in his career ever. So he wasn't just playing the JJ Redick role. So it's weird. It's weird.
Even shut up and play basketball.
Even in the playoffs when he wasn't shooting the ball well, he was getting all them rebounds and bringing it right up court. And he was a dude that was damn near having like 8-9 assists a game.
I don't think people talk about how strong Luka is, man. Luka's strong as shit.
Yeah.
No, for real.
He was posting up all Georgia Kawhi.
Yeah.
On the bad ankle.
Yup.
And it's not like he's just so fast or he's just like, super strong. Another like that's another thing when you talk about just like athleticism, and Steve Nash had the same thing, but that balance and ability to control pace, that counts as like athleticism and skill set.
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
I was talking to my homie Combos yesterday on live, and we was talking about like I prioritize feel for the game is big for me.
Yeah.
Like I'll take feel for the game more than a speedy, quick point guard because that speedy, quick point guard, you probably can't slow down. You know what I mean? Like when John Wall first came into the league, I don't know if y'all remember, but he had no breaks. It was all go, 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 turnovers, charges, out of control. Like that pacing, that shit is crazy. And we've seen guys not be the quickest or fastest still get their shit off. Like Paul Pierce. Nothing about Paul Pierce is quick or fast, but he got his shit off against very quick and athletic defenders who they try to put him on all the time. Joe Johnson, by any means, is not quick or fast. Got his shit off. Luka's getting his shit off. Kobe was athletic as hell, but Kobe wasn't fast or no shit like that. So I think, that even LeBron now, LeBron doesn't have the same first step that he had, but he has an incredible pace.
I'm more interested in that LeBron getting his own little brand, like his own umbrella thing. That's what's super interesting to me. It does make sense because, I mean, the man is damn near possibly the greatest player of all time. But the thing with the Steph Curry thing that's kind of – it's happening so late in his career, right? And I understand you can't do it early because he wasn't Steph Curry earlier. But it's like, how many sneaker models can y'all release under the Steph Curry brand? Because how long is Steph Curry going to be elite? Right, he'll be in the league for a long time because of his shooting ability, but like as an elite player, how many more years is that?
I don't think they care because I think you do it even when he's done.
You think so?
Kobe's still getting shoes when he was done. He'll still get shoes that he passed. LeBron, those names are so prominent that
those when it comes to at least Kobe, most of them is just like different colorways of the same model. I mean, like actual shoe models.
Kobe get actual shoes. Those Kobe what was the ones DeRozan and them used to wear, like the Kobe X's that didn't have shoestrings and shit like that? That was post retirement. Kobe's got shoes that dropped after post retirement. Like, look it up.
Here's my thought on it. It's just like especially you guys said it, and I really don't like how they look either. I don't see a lot of just like men wearing those. I don't see a lot of hoopers wearing that. I can imagine like kids wearing it. You know, their favorite player is Stephen Curry, so I'm gonna go get their shoes. And that's the thing KB is saying, like post retirement, like. I feel a lot of the shoes that still sell post retirement, they actually still have like on court and off court. Like off court, they could still be rocked off court.
Right.
The Nike Kobe AD. I'm sorry.
Oh, the AD
was the first post retirement shoe for Brian, with the new shoe plan for each season and perpetuity. Kobe shoes are by far the most popular sneaker design in the NBA, worn by dozens of players. Right. And I remember there's a Kobe interview where he talks about AD. Those are his post retirement shoes. So Kobe ADs will come after.
After okay, I got you. But yeah, I agree with you what you're saying though, Mike. Like I feel like Steph Curry's sneaker demographic is the kids, right? More than anything. When I can't say the same about Jordan, I can't say the same about Bron or Kobe, right? Kobe.
You can wear their shoes off the court, like he said.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So if Steph Curry, if the shoes eventually get to a point where you're like, you know what, I could rock those with my fit when I'm going to school, and I could say like, okay, maybe this was like they could work on it after his career and everything. But if that's just staying to where how it is, like it look like nurses' shoes, I'm cool on it.
I think it has a lot to do with the material. I don't think they're that bad. They're not that bad. But I think a lot of that has to do with the material, right? Where like I'm not gonna wear a shoe that looks like it fits like a sock outside. Like that can be a hooping shoe. But like Jordan with the leather, whether it be suede on some LeBrons, those are like shoes you can put a fit together with. So
I guarantee they have a plan. I don't think they.
Yeah. No, I know they're not going into it completely blind. I hope that it's successful because I want to see more NBA players get their own little brands.
Me too. That's going to start doing is
I want podcasters to get their own brand.
For real.
Okay, since you just said that, I said this in the party. I'm gonna put myself out there. 2021 is the year New Balance for me. You won't see me wearing a lot of other shit besides New Balance. I want it to be New Balance. I don't even want. Listen. New Balance me the fuck out, please. Like, I'll wear the shit that DeJounte Murray and them don't want to wear. Just send it to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be that dude. Right. Because New Balance to me is the top of the line. I like it because it's different. And when I wear my New Balance, I don't have to worry about running into another person with these on like I do with Jordan and Nike. And I think that's another thing. Steph Curry got his shoe shit with Under Armour. LeBron, it's not a lot of people is going to be like LeBron, right? The best player to ever play. So Paul George going to get his own department of Nike? Probably not. But if he was with Puma, it would increase the chances. So we probably see a lot of athletes too start venturing off to other brands, which I love. I love LaMelo going to Puma because Nike has it. I love Nike. I've been a Nike kid my whole life, but I like other shit. I like Kawhi going to New Balance. I want to see somebody go to Reebok. Brandon Ingram, I don't know if y'all see his IG. He's been posting a lot of Reeboks, a lot of old AIs that he's working out with. I don't know if he's a sneaker free agent because he still wears Adidas, but he's posted a lot of Reebok shit, like, and they don't have anybody. So I would like to see somebody try to rejuvenate Reebok. Who else is out there? You got Clay going to Anta. The LiAngelo Russell is under the wave Wades. Like, let's spread this shit out a little bit, and not everybody running Nike and Adidas.
Wade, Leaning just got Jimmy Butler. They got Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler, yeah. So that shit is dope to me personally.
And I think Jimmy Butler's getting his own signature shoe, which is like, if I was a player, that would be one of the main things. Like, if I can get my own signature shoe, I don't care if nobody buys that shit. But if I have my own shoe, that's the end of it.
Somebody will too. There's always a few thousand people that's a fan.
Hell, I bought the Way Away sixes.
I
have those.
They like bright ones.
Yeah, they're like mustard. They're ugly, but they I always gonna tell people they're like the best feeling hooping shoe I own.
That's how I feel about New Balance. There's no shoe that's comfortable on a day-to-day. I've worn that shit to dinner. I've worn it to run errands. I ran on a treadmill in New Balance. The shit is the most comfortable shit ever. I literally feel like that's a shoe that was made for my foot. The only shoe that has ever been that comfortable to that is the Off-White Air Max that I have. Like, it don't
95s?
Huh?
Which ones the 95s, right? The black joints?
Those are 96s, but they have a spin on them.
Okay.
Like,
I don't even remember which ones you got.
They don't look like the Air Max silhouette that they take part of. They don't look like them. Like, they put their own. The ones Terrence just put on yesterday on his IG, if you saw. They 97s, but they don't look like 97s because they have a big ass Nike.
Oh, okay. All right, I think it's another edition of Through the White Pie.
Baby, you gotta put your pouch. You gotta put your pitch out there. I know you Converse. Hey, KV signed a Converse on my career, y'all.
I did, but I'm a free agent. I'm a sneaker free agent, man. So if anybody, I've already worked with Nike a little bit, but I'm a free agent. You know what I'm saying? Hey.
Can I ask you a question?
Just email
me.
What's up?
Would you go with anybody?
No, I wouldn't go with anybody.
My nigga. That's all I wanted to know.
Unless anybody got that bag on them, then yes,
so you would wear Fila. You would wear Fila. What's a bag?
What? How much is Fila offering?
I don't know. You said the bag. I want to know what's your thing.
For 10 years.
How many?
10 years.
What was the number you said?
I'm not wearing shit for 10 years.
10
what was the number? Huh?
10 years, 100 mil.
100 mil.
Hell yeah!
He said 10 million at first.
No, I said 100.
But hey, you have to put it into perspective. I'm a YouTuber. I'm not an NBA athlete, so I'm not getting $100 million sneaker contract. So it would have to be more real. I would wear anything for $100 million. That's generational wealth. That's like my grandkids gonna be cool. So hell yeah, I'll rock Fila. I'll rock the big ass Fila with the spikes at the end. I don't care for $100 million. But like a more realistic thing, if a sneaker company was like, if Fila was like, we got $1 million for a 2-year contract, I gotta say no to Fila. I gotta say no to Fila.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Fila, but I gotta say no.
What about damn? I'm trying to think K-Swiss because Gary V. Gary V has a deal.
Yeah, I know.
He laughing, but I think that's the wave. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I was in one of these offices, a headquarters working for the company, I would be in meetings like, yo, New Balance. We have Kawhi, we have DeJounte, we have Darius Baisley. We're probably not gonna get like a bunch of NBA players. The 3 we have are good. What's the next avenue? Rappers, YouTubers, then you know what I'm saying, and influencers. So that's I don't know why a lot of these guys don't have like. If I was I don't even want to get nobody ideas, but shit.
Not
fuck with the podcasters.
Fuck
with the podcasters.
What about N1?
Again, Javon was wearing that shit because they was giving them a bag.
But that's like some hooping shit. I can't imagine N1s outside.
Facts.
No,
so,
that's true.
It has to be.
D-Bills and Mike, what would be y'all preference? Which, because I don't like. Fuck a deal.
Y'all not fashion dudes. So like, if Fila offer you 2-year $1 million, are you saying yes?
Yeah, I ain't got shit else.
Yeah,
I mean, but
I ain't got shit else.
You talking about like
whole podcast.
No, I'm talking about like it's not like I'm a big Nike dude or I'm a big Jordan. Like I literally wear anything. So if
Right. That's
it's
why, in
me,
perspective for you, that's a good ass deal.
right? I mean, if you turns about just me now, if I was like in the hooping in the NBA or something.
No, I'm talking about you now. Fuck with you.
Oh,
You was hooping. I know you want to wear Fila.
Hell nah. It's only one brand I would go to if I was in the hooping game. But nah, yeah, literally. But no.
But you as Mike as a podcaster, they say, listen, we've been watching through the wire.
Mm-hmm.
We think you're unique. A lot of people focus on Kenny because he's YouTuber. So we know we probably we won't get his attention because he wants something bigger than K-Swiss or Fila. So we want to hit up you. P, we heard him talk about New Balance. He talks too much anyway. We don't like how he's so loud. We like you. You're reserved. You have the dreadlocks. We can tell you smoke an ounce a day.
Hey, put me out. I honestly don't care if it's like. I like simple designs. Like if K-Swiss send me a shirt and it's just a nice cotton shirt and it just say K-Swiss right here, I'm cool with like you get K-Swiss, feel me out.
So this is the brand deal. You have to wear it completely all the time. You have to do a fit pick a couple times a month, which you wearing your K-Swiss or whatever. And you have to do like Instagram lives in their account or some shit. Like, come on, bro. Keep it a buck, bro. These joints are bogus. If I see you put a fit pick together with this shit, bro.
Hey,
that was my
New Balance said that to me. I'll be on a podcast like, yeah. I think Russ that Wizards and Rockets trade crazy.
Hey, at the end of the day, KB, no matter what anybody said to me, I'd always look at them and be like, "Hey, they paying me that bag. They sponsor me, so shit."
We can't make fun of you if you getting your money up.
Hell no. What kind of person say to you if you making $1 million and they work at Taco Bell?
I'm looking up K-Swiss on GOAT, and I'm gonna go most popular K-Swiss. Most expensive pair of K-Swiss. Ooh, these hoes clean.
Facts, bro. Then you have that where like there's shit that exists that we don't know about because we don't pay attention to K-Swiss. And he's gonna be putting people.
Look, you talking about E? These this is bogus,
bro. The majority of K-Swiss, if you put them on, I feel like it adds like 10 years to your age, bro. Like
this right here, bro.
Who is Lil Jupiter? Is that a rapper?
I don't know.
It's a collaboration. Who is Lil Jupiter?
Still smell new.
I remember going to see K-Swiss at Payless. You used to see them motherfuckers in Payless.
Lil Jupiter got 600,000 followers on the gram.
Your family, bro. No, I'm just playing, bro. No, Payless, they definitely was like K-Swiss. You said right?
Yeah.
They was like the face of Payless for sure. Yeah. Them in light up shoes that
K-Swiss also seem like that type of brand, or they'll try to mimic other shoes, but they'll just have it like under K-Swiss.
This shoe is a come on, my camera's
that shit looks like an Adidas shoe.
Guess. Okay. Look at this shoe, right? It is a collaboration with a movie.
Rugrats.
No, it is a historic black movie.
Purple. The
color purple?
No.
That's a good guess.
That R is a sign.
That's a historic black movie.
Historic black movie.
So it starts with an R, or the R is a character?
A character in it has an R.
Oh my gosh.
Morris Chestnut.
Ricky.
Boys in the Hood.
Oh. That's what he was wearing when he got shot?
I guess so. Oh my God. That's crazy. Gary V. Gary V got some heat.
He got his own shoe. That shit crazy. Like that's another thing too, bro. If you put the 2-year deal for me on the table with Fila or K-Swiss, if I could create a shoe, I'll take it. But if they just want me to wear their standard shit, hell no. But if I can create my own shoe, I'll have they shit looking nice. Cause all I'm gonna do is be like, you see the shoe that New Balance made? Make this, except put your logo instead of this.
Oh my God. Okay, this is the last shoe I'm gonna show y'all. Then we're gonna end this episode, okay? I typed in most expensive Fila.
They got a Fendi collab?
A Fendi collab, bro.
Bro, hey, they low key try to do their thing too. They try to copy the Balenciagas and everything.
That's a $2,000 shoe on GOAT.
And they got that like Steph Curry ankle sleeve on it too.
Yeah, what's the fuck, a hooping shoe? All right. Thank y'all for watching this episode.
Hey, Big N, get at me. 997, man.
We'll see y'all in a few
This
days.
shit was made for my foot. Watch how it just slides in.
All right. Man doing whole ad reads.
Ignore my socks.